Henry, we've been talking about the primaries and caucuses to date. How super was Super Tuesday for Romney?
It wasn't super, but it was good enough. 6 out of 10 so far, including the narrow win in Ohio. He's opened up a 200 delegate lead on Santorum. Santorum is going to have a chance to come back. A lot of the states coming up to vote are states that are very favorable to him, but Romney's got a 200 delegate lead, and it's going to be hard for Santorum to catch up.
We've seen some real cleavages in the Republican Party electorate. Romney seems to do better with more affluent voters, more highly educated voters, less religious voters. What does that tell you about the fall?
Well, what it tells me is that Romney has a particular appeal to some sort of swing voters that Republicans are going to need. Educated, affluent voters in the suburbs have been moving away from Republicans over the last 20 years. Romney's demographic showings in the primary suggest he might be able to woo them back. But simultaneously, Republicans need also to win huge margins among the middle class and the white working class. And that's where Romney has been losing consistently in the Republican primaries. And it seems to be a weakness that shows up in general election polls as well.
Let's talk about Ohio because it's so important. It's a microcosm of the country. And we learned last night that Santorum won 69 of the 88 counties in Ohio. What does that tell you about his appeal?
Santorum's appeal is to the person who is a little concerned about the drift of America socially and economically. He has a very strong appeal to people in small towns and rural communities and small suburbs. Those people tend to be more religious than Americans. They tend to be less affluent than Americans. Rick Santorum appeals to the person who didn't graduate from college, lives outside of a major metropolitan area, and makes less than $70,000 a year.
If this goes on and on, can Republicans paper over these differences?
Paper over these differences? No. Republicans need to figure out from both sides what they want to accomplish, but most importantly, if Mitt Romney is going to be the nominee, he needs to find a way to get the base interested in him and not just reluctantly backing him. But more importantly, he needs to find a way to win over those middle-class independents who have been coming out and voting for Rick Santorum, but who don't seem to cotton to him very much.
So Romney wanted to close the book, but his opponents only want to turn the page.
To be continued.